Hello, friends. Today, we are going to talk about a war that shocked the whole world. It started suddenly, and it ended suddenly. This was the short but very dangerous war between Iran and Israel in June 2025. It lasted only 12 days, but during those days, many people feared that the world might move closer to a big global war. On June 13th, 2025, around 3 o'clock in the morning, something unexpected happened. More than 200 Israeli fighter jets entered Iran's airspace. These jets attacked over 100 important locations inside Iran. The targets included military bases, nuclear facilities, and other sensitive buildings. This was not a small or random attack. It was carefully planned and very large in scale. Soon after the attack began, news channels around the world started showing breaking news. People everywhere were shocked and confused. During this attack, around 80 people lost their lives, and more than 300 people were injured. Sadly, many of them were ordinary civilians who had nothing to do with the war. Some very important Iranian leaders were also killed, including top military officers and scientists connected to Iran's nuclear program. Israel named this attack Operation Rising Lion. After the attack, one big question came into everyone's mind. Why did Israel attack Iran first? At that moment, Iran had not attacked Israel. Yes, both countries had bad relations for many years. Yes, they had threatened each other many times before. But in this case, there was no fresh attack by Iran that could explain such a large strike. Israel said this attack was an act of self-defense. They claimed they attacked because they feared Iran might soon make a nuclear weapon. However, many people around the world questioned this logic. They asked how an attack could be called self-defense if it was launched first. Israel and the United States said they had information that Iran was very close to making a nuclear bomb. A few weeks earlier, a report from a United Nations nuclear agency was leaked. This report said Iran had a large amount of enriched uranium. It is important to understand that Iran did not have a nuclear weapon at that time. But some countries believed Iran might make one in the future, and this possibility became the main reason for the attack. Iran did not remain silent after the attack. On the same night, Iran fired missiles and drones toward Israel. Many of them were stopped in the air, but some reached areas near Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Over the next few days, both sides continued attacking each other using missiles, drones, and airstrikes. People on both sides suffered greatly. Homes were damaged, and many lives were lost. Fear spread across the Middle East. Ordinary people who wanted peace were trapped in the middle of this growing conflict. At first, the United States was not directly fighting in the war. However, U.S. President Donald Trump was making strong statements. He warned Iran again and said Iran must never be allowed to make nuclear weapons. At one point, Trump even said that America knew where Iran's supreme leader was hiding. This statement made the situation even more serious. Iran responded clearly and said that it would never surrender. On June 21st, the situation took a very dangerous turn. The United States directly joined the fight. More than 120 U.S. military planes flew toward Iran. Their targets were 3 major nuclear sites hidden deep underground. These places were protected by mountains, so normal bombs could not destroy them. To attack these sites, the U.S. used very powerful bunker-buster bombs. These bombs are specially designed to break deep underground. It was the first time such powerful bombs were used in this way. After the attack, President Trump spoke on television and said the mission was a huge success. He claimed that Iran's nuclear facilities had been completely destroyed. At this point, many people believed the war would not stop. 2 days later, Iran fired missiles at a major U.S. military base in Qatar. Most of the missiles missed their targets, and only one caused minor damage. But the message was clear. Air traffic in the Middle East was stopped, flights were canceled, and people around the world began to fear that this conflict could turn into World War III. Then, something very unexpected happened. On June 24th, a ceasefire was suddenly announced. Donald Trump said that Iran and Israel had agreed to stop fighting. People around the world were confused. The war had started suddenly, and now it had ended just as suddenly. What really happened behind the scenes? Why did all sides suddenly agree to stop fighting? This is where the story becomes even more interesting, and the answers will be revealed in the next part. After the ceasefire was announced, people around the world felt relief. But at the same time, confusion increased. How could such a serious war stop so suddenly? Just a day earlier, missiles were flying, airports were shut down, and global leaders were warning about a bigger war. And suddenly, everything stopped. To understand this, we need to look at what was happening behind closed doors. The truth is, this war was not only between Iran and Israel. Many powerful countries were watching very closely. The United States was involved directly. Russia and China were watching carefully. Middle Eastern countries were worried that if the war continued, the entire region could collapse. Oil prices were rising, global markets were shaking, and shipping routes were at risk. One of the biggest fears was the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow sea route is extremely important because around 20% of the world's oil passes through it. Iran has strong control near this area. If Iran had blocked this route, oil prices could have exploded worldwide. This would not only hurt the US or Israel, but also Europe, Asia, and developing countries. The pressure to stop the war became very high. Inside Iran, the situation was also tense. Iran had suffered heavy losses. Important military commanders were killed. Nuclear sites were damaged. At the same time, Iran had shown that it could strike back. By attacking a US base in Qatar, Iran sent a message, "We can hurt you too." But Iran also knew that a long war with the US and Israel together could be very dangerous. Israel was also under pressure. Even though Israel has a strong military, its cities were under constant missile threats. People were hiding in shelters. Businesses were shut. Schools were closed. Israel's economy was slowing down. Most importantly, Israel knew that if the war continued, Hezbollah from Lebanon and other groups could fully join the fight. That could turn into a nightmare scenario. The United States did not want a long war either. America had already shown its power by using bunker-buster bombs. That was a strong warning. But a full-scale war in the Middle East would cost America billions of dollars and many lives. It would also damage America's image globally and create problems during elections back home. So, behind the scenes, secret talks began. These talks did not happen on TV or social media. They happened quietly through middle countries. Qatar played a key role. Oman also helped. Messages were passed between Iran and the US without direct meetings. The goal was simple: stop the war before it goes out of control. According to reports, a deal was shaped around saving face. Israel could say it destroyed Iran's nuclear sites. The US could say it showed strength and stopped Iran's nuclear program. Iran could say it survived the attacks, hit back, and forced a ceasefire. No side officially accepted defeat, but all sides got a reason to stop. On the surface, the ceasefire looked peaceful. But underneath, nothing was fully solved. Iran's nuclear program was damaged, but not completely erased. Israel still considers Iran a threat. The US still wants Iran to stop uranium enrichment. So the conflict did not end forever. It was only paused. Another important point is public opinion. Around the world, people were protesting. Many civilians had died. Social media was full of videos showing destruction and suffering. Governments felt pressure from their own people. No leader wanted to be remembered as the one who pushed the world into a massive war. This war also showed how modern conflicts work. It was not just about soldiers and tanks. It was about air power, intelligence, cyber systems, diplomacy, media narratives, and economic pressure. A war can now start with one decision and stop with one phone call, but the damage remains. The Iran-Israel War of 12 days became a warning for the future. It showed how fast things can escalate. It also showed how fragile global peace really is. One wrong step, one emotional decision, and the world could be pulled into chaos. But the biggest question still remains unanswered. Did this war actually stop Iran from becoming a nuclear power? Or did it only delay the process? And what if the next conflict is even bigger? Now let's talk about the biggest question of all. Did this 12-day war actually solve anything? The short answer is, not really. The fighting stopped, but the problems did not disappear. The war paused the situation, but it did not fix the root cause. And that is why many experts believe this peace may not last forever. From Iran's point of view, this war sent a very dangerous message. Iran saw that a country can be attacked just because others suspect something. Even without clear proof, bombs can fall. Because of this, Iran may now feel that the only real protection is having nuclear weapons. If a country has nuclear bombs, others think twice before attacking. This is exactly what happened with North Korea. Israel, on the other hand, believes it acted to protect itself. Many Israelis support their government's actions. They feel that waiting was too risky. In their minds, attacking first was better than being attacked later. But at the same time, Israel knows that Iran is still there. Its knowledge, scientists, and technology cannot be erased by bombs alone. The United States also gained and lost things. America showed its military power to the world. It proved that it can strike anywhere, anytime. But it also lost moral ground. Many people around the world questioned America's role. Was this really about peace? Or was it about power, control, and politics? Then there is Donald Trump. He presented himself as a hero who stopped a big war. He spoke about peace and even hinted at a Nobel Prize. But critics say he helped create this mess in the first place by canceling the old nuclear deal. If that deal had stayed, this war might never have happened. Politics played a huge role in this conflict. Leaders used strong speeches, bold claims, and dramatic actions to look powerful in front of their people. Winning elections, staying in power, and avoiding legal trouble mattered a lot. In many cases, national interest came second to personal interest. One painful truth is that ordinary people suffered the most. Innocent civilians died. Families lost their homes. Children were scared. None of these people decided to start a war. Yet they paid the highest price. This is the sad reality of modern conflicts. This war also reminds us of history. In 2003, Iraq was attacked because of claims about dangerous weapons. Those weapons were never found. Millions of lives were destroyed. Today, similar patterns are visible again. Accusations first, bombs later, and questions asked much later. There is still a peaceful solution available. Diplomacy, talking, agreements, trust building, nuclear deals with strict inspections. These things may sound boring, but they save lives. When countries talk, bombs don't fall. If the world truly wants peace, it must learn from this war. Military power alone cannot create long-term safety. Fear creates more fear. Violence creates more violence. Only dialogue can break this cycle. The 12-day Iran-Israel war may be remembered as a short conflict, but its impact is long-lasting. It exposed how fragile global peace is. It showed how quickly the world can move toward disaster. And it warned us that the next conflict could be even worse. The real question is not who won this war. The real question is, will we learn anything from it? Because if we don't, history will repeat itself. And next time, the cost could be much higher.